Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. D.V. Prasad from Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh. Today we will discuss about the module Gendered Aspects of Family from paper Social Cultural Anthropology. Let us see what we are going to study in this module. To understand the Indian family structure, to know about the gender-based roles, rights, restrictions, and reservations. Further, to learn about the web of relationships between different family members based upon their age and gender. To compare these relations in different contexts like North India versus South India and the different caste and jati groups. To study how these relationships have changed over time. We will start with the gendered aspects of family. First of all, what is family or an ideal Indian family? Then the gender and family relations, the hierarchical dominance, various gendered relationships of Indian family, husband and wife relationship, brother and sister relationship, parent and children relationship, the daughter-in-law and affinal family relations, the variations within India, the important changes over time. What is family? According to G.P. Modak, a family is a social group characterized by common residence, economic cooperation, and reproduction. It includes two sexes and a sexual relationship and one or more children, that is biological or adopted, of the sexually cohabiting adults. Functions of family. Family performs different kinds of functions that can be distinguished under two categories, namely biological functions and social functions. Under biological functions, it provides a legitimate platform for satisfaction of the sexual needs of its members in a manner accepted by society. It also acts as a medium to ensure social continuity through biological reproduction. It tries to fulfill the basic requirements of shelter, caloric, and metabolic needs like food intake, diet, etc. It acts as an economic unit and fulfill the economic needs. The members are actively engaged in production activities and ensure that entire income is pooled together to satisfy their needs. The members may be engaged in similar or different jobs. Family act as a unit of consumption. For example, they share a common hearth which is expected to bind people together in some societies. The members cooperate with each other in a meaningful way to make it economically viable. There exists some kind of unspoken understanding between the members in household chores based on the principle of division of labor, age, gender, position, and personal competitive skills. When it comes to the another function, that is social functions, the family performs religious functions on everyday basis. Some families may have their own god or deity for ensuring their protection. It is a unit of primary socialization where the cultural values, basic skills, and etiquettes develop under the care and guidance of elders. So, family plays an educational function. The family performs psychological functions which has implications on the personality of its members. The ideal Indian family. An ideal Indian family is not a mere construct of a house and people, but it is an arrangement of relations widened through years of traditions, values, and beliefs, tied to the social norms and customs which have to be followed to make a successful continuous in an Indian village. An Indian village is not just confined to its boundaries, but there is a year-long tradition of respect and identity which runs through the questions of what you are, both in terms of blood and the position in society. The prevalence of caste and jati system is still seen, which is the most of the North Indian villages consider itself a fraternity within which the practice of endogamy is barred. An ideal Indian family is identified with the following expected characteristics. They are mainly the filial and fraternal solidarity. Second, the men of the household are expected to engage in economic activities, and the women of the household are expected to be loyal and submissive to their husbands and elders by showing respect through an exhaustive list of behaviors and attitudes. The maintained integrity of the members and the young children of the household ensures the continuity of the family. A joint family. In simple terms, a joint family comprises of the members of the several generations of a unilineal descent group living with their spouses and children in the same house, sharing common hearth and property, represented by the same head of the family and sharing ties of mutual obligations. Such a family observes both vertical and horizontal expansion, and the personal freedom and autonomy is somewhat restricted. The head of the family is generally the oldest male member of the house in his full potential to dominate and regulate the members and the economy of the house. If he is dead, his eldest son takes over that position, but in that case, the role of his mother cannot be neglected, who has full participation in regulating the working of the household and taking final decisions in the family matters. Every single person plays a multiple roles and is connected to each other through the hierarchical barriers of age and sex, which form the basis of interaction and difference between two people. A joint family has some features. They are mainly joint family performs religious rituals, ensures the reproductive continuity, and work together. Men share and own property, take collective decisions, live together, share common hearth, eat same food, learn the fundamentals of culture and society, and pool their income. The gender and family relations. The gender is considered as an important parameter of social stratification in India, right from the birth of an individual, where one sex is given preference over the other. This is quite a general phenomena observed with varying degree of expression in North and South India. Females are theoretically revered and given a sacred position in the religious rituals and holy books, whereas in financial observation, a factual observation, a same body and being is deterred from entering the holy premises during her impure phases of life. She is not given any property ownership rights and is restricted to the household premises. She is not also given any economic freedom and is bound under the social stigmas of suppression under her husband's family. Some restrictions on expression are also observed in case of menfolk, but they are confined to their age. Division of roles, the male and female. In a patriarchal society like ours, the division of roles is determined by the sex of the person, and these roles, to a huge extent, are institutionalized. A woman is considered fragile both in terms of physical strength and mental ability to take decision outside the household premises. So, a male who, in societal terms, is more strong and capable to control the household as well as external relations, is considered fit as the successor and beholder of the family's reputation and functioning. A woman, on the other hand, is considered prospective in maintaining the continuity of the family by bringing a male progeny into the house. This recruitment starts when a young boy of the family reaches an age around 13 to 14 years and is expected to take some economic responsibilities from his father. A suitable girl who is aged less than the eligible boy and has not reached puberty is selected from a family which is from a different clan or similar caste or jati as of the boys in the North India, and preferably from the cross cousin group in South India. As soon as she entered the household of her husband, she is simultaneously connected to a web of relationships defining her position and identity in her new home. At the same time, her natal family members become inferior in position in comparison to her husband's household and are expected to show their generosity towards them by playing important roles in rituals, taking care of her children, offering gifts and presentations to them on occasions and needs. The husband, on the other hand, is under the dominance of his father, who is also the head of the family and owns the property. He is economically and socially dependent on him to gain an identity in his kin group. If the husband is younger than his siblings, then he is also subjugated under the dominance of his elder brothers. A new generation is created through the legal wedlock of the people, and the child is welcomed to the patrilineal lineage and given his or her father's name. From the birth till the naming of the child, the mother is considered impure and is restrained from entering the sacred regions of the house. This child is if a male, is cherished by the family and is expected to augment the position of the mother in the house. But if a girl child is born, she is considered an economic burden who for life would be engaged them in a cycle of formalities to be borne by her brother. She is taught to obey the order of her elder without much essay. Till puberty, she is developed into stern disciplined body, ready to be freed from the ties of the girlhood into a woman. So, a girl child is usually discouraged in the village side, whereas a boy is considered a blessing of God. The hierarchical dominance. The rule of dominance in Indian family is two-faced. First, it transfers the rights and powers to a person, preferably the oldest male, to take family decisions and regulate its functioning. And secondly, binds him to look after the welfare of other members who are hierarchically subordinate to him. The oldest male of the highest generation is supposed to receive the most respect, obedience, the female at the opposite pole the most protection and care. So the power of dominance comes with added responsibilities towards the family. A common hierarchical order based on sex and age in an Indian family can be demonstrated through the figure. You can see the figure wherein three generations were given: generation 1, generation 2, and generation 3. Every single person plays a multiple roles, is connected to each other through the hierarchical barriers of age and sex, which form the basis of interaction and difference between two people. The husband and wife relationship in Indian family. The relationship of a husband and wife is considered the decision of God in the Indian context. Though there are barriers, rules, and regulations on the conduct of the same, the young bride who is trained in her natal household all the values to satisfy her husband and his family comes into force when she enters her husband's family. Her position in the new house is dependent on her husband's position in the house. She is taught to endure every problem silently. In North India, a husband is given the status of Pati Parmeshwar. That is, a husband's status is equivalent to the God for a bride, and in his every deed, she must find her fate and so abide to it. She is not allowed to take his name or address him in public. During meals, she is supposed to eat after her husband, and while walking, she must customarily follow behind her husband. The couple is expected to maintain a distance in the public domain, though there is always an expectation to conceive as soon after marriage. The brother and sister relationship. The responsibility of a mother is to induce the feeling of togetherness between the children, irrespective of their gender and position in the house. This inculcates a strong bond between the brother and brother, brother and sister and sister. Ideally, there is a strong support and mutual understanding between the siblings till the parents are alive. But when the father dies, because of the questions of the ownership of property, some disputes may arise between brothers. If the difference in age between the brothers is less, this may sometimes turn into rivalry because traditionally the elder one gains right over the property and control of the household. On the other side, the relationship between a brother and sister is more stable, durable, and affectionate. A brother's responsibilities towards his sister increases when she gets married and enters her husband's household. The brother's duty is to protect her, give her more than he receives, and take care of her husband and children. So, after marriage of his sister, he gets transformed into the roles of where he plays a brother for his sister, a brother-in-law for her husband, and mother's brother for his sister's children. In return, the sister acts as a mother to him. She takes care of him from childhood, spends time and play with him and share his joy and sorrow. On the eve of Raksha Bandhan, the love between a brother and sister is clearly evident. The importance of a mother's brother is specially realized in the matrilineal societies where the ownership of property is in the hands of sister, but its management is done by her mother. Example, Nayars of Kerala. The parents and children relationship. The bonds of relationship of the child with both his parents differ in time and depth. Although both the parents are out to be treated with great respect, but the relationship that is shared with a mother is far more lenient and indulgent as compared to that with a father, which is often more formal and conserved. With a father, the children are long dependent on the father for economic, social, and personal reasons. The daughters are married off at an early age, after which her maintenance is the responsibility of her husband. But in the case of son, till his father is alive, he is supposed to abide to his orders and bears his interference in all spheres of his personal life. Similarly, after the death of the father, his soul comes to rest only when his son performs the ritual as a final tribute to him for the salvation of his soul. After marriage, the interference of a father in his son's matter remains but gets nullified in his daughter's case. The marriage of his daughter in a higher status family than his own brings secular gains to him in his jati. Though, due to societal restraints, he is not supposed to visit his daughter's new household often and take any sort of gifts from them. Then, relation with mother. A mother, on the other hand, acts as an intermediate between the son and the father. She is the one who puts forth his request and needs to the father, who decides whether they could be fulfilled or not. A daughter, on the other hand, is handled with care, not as much as given to the son, but enough to preserve her virginity till marriage. The mother is the one who trains her skills, discipline, and obedience to turn her into a mature woman handling her husband's household well after marriage. If she fails in that, she is cursed and blamed along with her daughters by the society for not infusing the basic etiquettes in her. The parents and children relationship. Duties of a child towards the parents. A son has to perform the final rites for his parents to make their soul rest in peace. If you take an example in Indian context, in a joint family in North India, eldest son has to perform the last rites of his father. Then children are also expected to obey and respect the elders and never ignore their words. They should maintain the societal respect for their merit of their parents by not diverting in anti-family decisions. We can see in all societies, the children are expected to respect the elder people, and where the society the respect is not getting from their children, they are easy to divert from their peaceful life. Then comes to the daughters, they are expected to obey her affinal kin and never bring a bad name to her natal family. And for this also we can say so many examples in Indian context where a daughter-in-law is expected to observe customary practices, that is veil in front of the elder people, and she has to obey all the directions or suggestions given by her family members. Must veil her head in front of the elders, can have a joking relationship with the younger brother of her husband, Her status is dependent on the status of her husband in the family. A mother-in-law makes her familiar with the members and rules of the house. The birth of a male child helps augment her status in the family. Roles distribution in a family. The roles of male acts as the head of the family and have property ownership rights, lives with the natal family after marriage, expected to take care of the family and outside family chores. He has economic freedom. When it comes to the role of female, she rarely chooses as the head of the family. In the traditional context, they do not have property ownership rights, lives with her husband and affinal kins after marriage, restricted to work of the household, do not have economic freedom. The variations within India. There is a striking difference in the family and kinship relations of the North and South India. North Indian family is kinship and marriage pattern is entirely different from the South Indian family. The variations within India, the North Indian family and the South Indian family. In North Indian family, believes in the expansion of family by marrying outside the kin group, whereas South Indian family believes in intensification of the existing family relations by preferring cross cousin marriages, whereas in North Indian family are generally patrilineal, patrilocal and virilocal, whereas in South Indian family both patrilineal and matrilineal families are found. In North Indian family, women of the house are more subjugated, whereas in South Indian family, women are much freer in their husband's household. In North Indian family, after marriage, there is restricted contact of the bride with her natal family, whereas in later, after marriage, there is no restriction on the bride to keep contact with her natal family. In North Indian family, the position of mother's brother becomes inferior to the sister's husband's family. In South Indian family, no rank differential is created through marriage alliance. Mother's brother is a potential father-in-law. The same variations within India. The different castes and jati groups differ from each other in customs because of varying status, wealth, and occupational roles. Some of the variations that have been seen are economic independence of women. The women of the lower jatis have to move out of their house to earn a living for their family because of the economic constraints and landlessness. For example, the women of Adi Dravidas of Tanjavur district of Tamil Nadu are more economically independent in comparison to the Brahmin women. They are considered as an asset for both the natal and affinal family because of their eligibility to do work as field laborers. Social independence of women. The Adi Dravidas women of Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu are socially free to divorce frequently and stay in touch with their natal families. The marriage of the widows is permitted. More nuclear family groups in comparison to the wealthier and highest caste groups. It is difficult for the people of lower jatis to maintain a joint family. This is because they are poor and landless. So, to earn a living, most of their family members, irrespective of sex, are engaged in economic activities so that the income can be pooled at the end of the day. Sons are not dependent on their father for a longer period. A son of the member of a lower jati group becomes a wage earner after reaching puberty. After marriage, he is not dependent on his father and moves to a separate household. On the other side, in a Brahmin family, as the property remains with her father till he is alive, his sons can barely afford to leave their paternal family after marriage. Egalitarian status of the brothers in the family. This is because first there is no property to share, and secondly, in the pooling of income, the brothers have equal contributions. The variations within India, in India you can see northeast, for example, Khasi, Naga and other tribal groups, the role of son and daughter is different. The Khasis are matrilineal tribe and the woman is given priority. Whereas in North India, elder son is given preference in inheritance of property. Thus, he commands respect within a joint family. When comes to South India, it is vary from state to state. In Kerala and Tamil Nadu, some tribes and castes are having this matrilineal system. For example, Todas of Nilgiri Hills, Nayars of Kerala, they are having this matrilineal system, and whereas others in Andhra and Karnataka, they are following the patrilineal system. Important changes over time. In the course of time, Indian family structure has gone tremendous changes due to the forces of westernization, industrialization, modernization and migration. Emergence of nuclear families, increased educational opportunities to women, abolition of child marriage and encouraging widow remarriage, equal right of women over property, matrimony is endangered, introduction of family planning in India. Let's summarize what we discussed in this module. A family is the smallest unit of society which perform certain biological and social functions. An ideal Indian family is based on the hierarchical structure of Indian society, that is caste and jati system. Here hierarchical structure in this sense you can find in Indian society is divided into Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and again there are so many subgroupings are there. So likewise the hierarchy we can find in Indian society. It is based on consanguineal and affinal ties between two families, and family has filial and fraternal solidarity. Then comes to the economic power and property ownership rights, and these rights are vested on the hands of the male members of the family. The women are responsible for taking care of the house and children. Children are expected to obey and respect their parents and elders. The head of the family is generally oldest male member of the house in his full potential to dominate and regulate the members and the economy of the house. Every single person play multiple roles and is connected to each other through the hierarchical barriers of age and sex, which form the basis of interaction and difference between two people. The function of a family is affected by the number of people who are part of the family and the nature of their family roles. When a new member joins the family, new relations come into play. A woman is considered prospective in maintaining the continuity of the family by bringing a male progeny into the house. Some of the important gender based dynamic relationships between the different family members includes the husband and wife relationship, the brother and sister relationship, the parents and children relationship, the daughter in law and the husband's family relationship. The shades of differences for treatment of both the sexes are seen between the North and the South Indian families and the caste based groupings in both the cultures. With the changing times, there has been a change in the family and kinship relations. Through the advent of westernization, industrialization, modernization, and population mobility across the subcontinent. Thank you.